myself is Divya Bahel, Assistant Professor in Chemical Engineering Department at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. The subject that we are going to continue is petroleum refining and petrochemicals. So in this lecture we will study about styrene. Okay, so this is a part of your C2 petrochemicals, right? So in last lecture we studied about various petrochemicals, okay, which are obtained from C1 petrochemicals, like the main precursor is methanol. Okay, similarly here we will study about C2 petrochemicals, and styrene is one of your important petrochemical. So your process is that you are obtaining your styrene from ethyl benzene. Okay, there are many routes to obtain certain petrochemicals. Here we are main concerned about styrene from ethyl benzene. Now see, ethyl benzene, how ethyl benzene is made? Okay, it is obtained from benzene. Okay, ethylation of benzene will give you ethyl benzene. Now ethyl benzene, when further reacted, it gives you styrene. So first of all, your styrene is it is produced from benzene via ethyl benzene route. Okay, so first you are converting a benzene into ethyl benzene, and then the second reaction that follows is dehydrogenation of ethyl benzene, and then it gives you styrene. So the step one is alkylation of benzene. Benzene plus ethylene, what will you obtain? You will get ethyl benzene. The catalyst used here is aluminium chloride. Okay, now the operating conditions are that temperature is maintained at 95 degrees Celsius and your pressure is 1 atm. Whereas this reaction, this is exothermic in nature. That was your step 1. The second step is dehydrogenation of your ethyl benzene. Okay, so ethyl benzene on dehydrogenation, it gives you styrene and hydrogen. Now here the reaction is endothermic, whereas the catalyst uses SNO or FeO. Okay, tin oxide or ferric oxide. The operating conditions is that your temperature is at 800 degrees Celsius and the side products obtained here are toluene and benzene. Okay, so here you can see the reaction ethyl benzene. Okay, again note down, this is your reversible reaction. Hence now here you can take into understanding that the major engineering problem would be one of the problem would be the yield of styrene. Okay, how we have to stop the reverse reaction. Okay, how styrene should be stopped to further react to give you ethyl benzene. Okay, so that would be one of your major engineering problem. So ethyl benzene, okay, as it is a reversible reaction, you can see styrene and hydrogen is obtained. Other reaction of ethyl benzene is that it reacts to give you benzene and ethylene. Another reaction is that your ethyl benzene, when it reacts with hydrogen, okay, it gives you toluene and methane. So these are the 3 routes which your ethyl benzene can take into account for reaction. Okay, so your major engineering problem, this way you can relate it. Okay, that your main goal is to obtain styrene. So how you have to stop these further reactions. Okay, so that is the part of your major engineering problem, right? The process here is simple. So here you can see that first of all you're heating your steam. Okay, you're heating it up to superheating condition. Okay, and then ethyl benzene, it is again vaporized and then sent to a catalytic dehydrogenation unit. The temperature is 800 degrees Celsius. So here you can see that superheated steam is used to maintain that temperature of 800 degrees Celsius. Okay, then you are sending your product, okay, into quench tower. Quench means sudden drastic decrease of temperature. Okay, the reason is to avoid the back reaction, okay, the reverse reaction to occur. Now here from vent you can see that you get your H2O gases, you get your H2O water, of course, as you are using superheated steam. Okay, now that on drastic cooling, okay, your steam is taken out, then it is sent to the benzene column. Okay, now as your product mixture, it is mixture of styrene, benzene, toluene. Okay, these are the side products. So the first step is you are taking out your benzene. Okay, so in benzene column, what you are doing, you are further fractionating it. From top you are getting benzene, toluene and other recovery products are obtained. Now the bottom product of this benzene column, it is then sent to ethyl benzene column. Okay, so here the unreacted ethyl benzene is taken out and further sent to your catalytic dehydrogenation unit. Here you can see that. Okay, as you know, this is reverse reaction, so of course its chances are there that ethyl benzene will form. Hence you are also keeping ethyl benzene column. Now again from ethyl benzene column it goes to finishing column, from where further this fractionation is done. Okay, from the top part of it you get your styrene. Okay, and the bottom part is other tar storage units. Okay, and any of your undesired products which are formed, those are separated out. Okay, So this was about your styrene from ethyl benzene. Now, the reason water quenching, it gives rise to additional reactions. Okay, why we are not using water? Because if water is present, then any additional reaction can occur. Okay, hence your steam quenching is done. Here you can see that in quench tower you are using your steam. Okay, already in your catalytic dehydrogenation unit you are using superheated steam, but here you are using only normal steam. Okay, it's not saturated. Steam quenching does not allow condensation, hence is safe in that sense not to trigger any unwanted reaction of styrene and ethyl benzene. Okay, condensation is not allowed here. Okay, hence another reactions, useless reactions are not followed. Now, styrene, benzene, toluene and ethyl benzene are close boiling components. Okay, so here you can see that why we need three different columns. Okay, because they are close boiling components. By going for vacuum distillation, we are able to enhance the relative volatility of component and hence better separation. Now you can see why from the top part you can see vacuum is written. Okay, because what you are doing, you are subjecting all your fractionation column under vacuum so as to separate as much as possible these components. Okay, now styrene is mainly used for making plastic toys and model kits. Okay, moreover for housing machines also, as well as for refrigerator doors. Okay, and in air conditioned cases, all these are what they are made of styrene. So you can see that it is a very major important petrochemical which is used in day-to-day life. So now the major engineering problems and the uses of styrene. Okay, so first of all, ethyl benzene is prone to fire hazard, hence its handling is hard. Okay, it is a high boiling component. Okay, so it has problem of what? Fire hazard. Now, styrene oxide is a derivative of styrene which is carcinogenic, hence its formation must be prevented. Okay, see, styrene oxide, carcinogenic means it is responsible for cancer related problems. Okay, so as we saw here, suppose take example of quench tower when you are using steam. Okay, why you are doing so as to stop the formation of undesired products. Okay, here styrene oxide is one of your product. Okay, if it undergoes oxidation, it gives you styrene oxide. So to avoid that, you are using what? Steam instead of water. The next is the side products formed are toluene, benzene, which are toxic in nature. Hence their storage, separation and handling is difficult. So this is also one of your major problem. Okay, that they are toluene and benzene. Benzene is against what? Carcinogenic. Besides that, here we saw that as it is reversible reaction. Okay, so that is also one of your major engineering problem, to increase the yield of styrene. Okay, so yield of styrene is one of your problem, that the yield is very less because toluene is also produced, benzene is also produced here. Okay, now styrene is a chemical used to make latex, synthetic rubber and polystyrene resins. Okay, so these are the uses. These resins are used to make plastic packaging, disposable cups and containers, insulation and other products. Now guys, what is resin here? See, resin is generally defined as a proportionate mixture of various other polymers, okay, to give you a desired product. Okay, polystyrene resin means, polystyrene is what? It is a polymer. With that you are adding certain additives also to make a desired product. Okay, so that is your resin. So these resins are further used to make plastic packaging, disposable cups and containers, insulation and other products. See, based on your demand, based on the application, what you are doing, you are molding your original product into some different entity by adding certain additives also. Okay, some other polymers into it, other components into it. So that was about your styrene. The next topic is your propylene. Okay, this is important petrochemicals which is used to make various other petrochemicals. Okay, this is the range of what? C3 petrochemicals, polypropylene. Okay, that is one of your polymer which is obtained from what? Propylene. So first of all, what is propylene? It is a C3 petrochemical. Okay, 3 carbons are present hence. So propylene is used in many of the world's largest and fastest growing synthetic material and thermoplastics, right? Now, the refinery grade propylene is consumed mainly for production of cumene and isopropyl alcohol, that is isopropanol also. Now, what is refinery grade? Okay, in refinery of gases, C3 gases are also obtained. Okay, so that is a refinery grade propylene. Whereas the chemical grade propylene mostly goes into oxo-alcohol production, propylene oxide and acrylonitrile. Chemical grade means you are preparing propylene using Chemical means, okay, by converting one component into another component. So that is your chemical grade, right? Propylene is a byproduct of steam crackers, and various amount of olefins is produced from steam crackers depending on the type of feedstock. Okay, so now the source of propylene is what? It is a byproduct of steam crackers. Other than that, the sources are that it is obtained from the recovery, okay, from FCCNs, then in your propane dehydrogenation, in methanation, okay, from these various processes also you get your propylene as your byproduct, right? So these are the major sources of propylene. Now, what are the products which can be obtained from propylene? So you can see that 1-butanol, 2-ethyl hexanol, allyl chloride, epichlorohydrin, okay, these are the products which you have obtained. Now, if talking about the polymers, so the polymers which are obtained are polypropylene, polyacrylamide, nylon 66, okay, so these are the polymers which you obtain. Then propylene oxide is also used, okay. Propylene oxide is further your product of propylene. Now this propylene oxide is then used to make what? Polyether polyols, glycol ethers, isopropyl amines, okay, carbamate. So these are the further components which are obtained from what? Propylene oxide. Then propylene glycol, okay. Propylene glycol is further reacted to give you what? Polyester resins, food additives, cellophane, paints and coating, plasticizers, okay, antifreeze components. So these are the treatment, these are the uses of your propylene glycol to give you further components, right? The next is acrylonitrile, okay. Acrylonitrile is obtained from what? From propylene. It is further reacted to give you what? Acrylic fibers, and acrylic acid, acrylates, okay. So these are the further components which are made and uses also. Now, isopropanol. It is used for what? Acetone, for cosmetics, as a solvent in pharmaceutical industries to further make isopropyl acetate, right? Last is the polyols. Polyols is obtained from what? Propylene. It is polyols are further used as what? It is used in polyurethane and as a polyester. So okay, so these are the products obtained from propylene and their further uses, right? Now polypropylene. Polypropylene, we saw here, what is it? It is a polymer, okay? Now, it is a low density, semi-crystalline thermoplastic polymer, right? The propylene processes are based on low pressure and it uses Ziegler-Natta catalyst. Okay, so your catalyst is what? Ziegler-Natta, and the pressure condition is what? It is produced at low pressure condition. Its properties is similar to polyethylene, but it is slightly harder and more heat resistant. Okay. Now, it is a white, mechanically rugged material and has a high chemical resistance. Okay, so these are the properties of what? Of your polypropylene. Now, let's see in gist how your polypropylene is made. Okay, what you are doing? Your monomer, that is what? Your propylene. Along with catalyst, you are doing what? Polymerization reaction. In next step in polymer, okay, we will study about various type of polymerization reaction. Okay, further like addition reaction is there, condensation is there. Okay, then even bulk phase is there. So these are the types of polymerization reaction. But here we are not concerned with what is the mechanism here. Okay, just you can see addition reaction is going on. Condensation is not happening. It is just a addition polymerization reaction. So propylene, when reacting with catalyst, undergoing the polymerization reaction, you get your final polymer. Okay. Now resin degassing. What is it? Degassing means you are trying to remove the bubbles. Okay. Of course, you are getting your product, some bubbles might be there. So degassing means you are treating it under vacuum. A slight vacuum is there so that the bubbles get removed and a smooth surface is obtained. Now, this product on pelletizing, okay, you are converting it into small pellets, okay, of small 1 centimeter to 2 centimeter size pellets are formed. Now that is then obtained as your product. So this is the in gist how your polymerization reaction is done of propylene and you get your product. Here you can see the main flow diagram of your production process. Okay, so what you are doing, propylene monomers are sent to fluidized bed reactor. Okay, so your reactor uses what? Fluidized bed reactor. You are adding what? Again, catalyst is added. Here you can see that the product from product unreacted gas is separated out, and then the product is further sent to what? Fluidized bed reactor 2. Okay, further the unreacted gases is sent to fluidized bed reactor 2 where further polymerization reaction occurs. From that also you are separating out what? Your unreacted gas, and from the bottom you are getting what? Your polymer. Okay, so this is your production of your polypropylene. Okay, now polypropylene is going to resin loading. It means now here degassing will occur further. and then it will be converted into what? Pellets form. Okay, degassing is generally done to remove the bubbles, right? So this was about your production of polypropylene. Now that was for today's lecture. In next lecture we will start with the polymers. Okay, so thank you.